Oh my gosh. Okay. I forgot to finish one little bit of my story and I just remembered and I was like, OMG, I got to do a PS. So welcome, PS. So anyways, okay. So I was saying, right? I had created this to-do list and I was like, I don't want to do most of this. Oh no. So rather than forcing myself to create the content that I had planned, I decided to create what wanted to be created. And what I discovered was that I had planned to create 10 pieces of content, and then I was going to drop a piece of content that I had already created that we were editing, right? So I ended up, I think I've created I think we're on 8 pieces of content now. So my goal was 10. And I had a plan, but I didn't create those. And instead I recorded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 7. Okay, so this is the 7th. So I did record 7 pieces of content. However, that actually will equate to 9 pieces of content because my 2 podcast episodes are going to go on my YouTube. So rather than just having my one YouTube video that I did, which I've just now this second, that's why I paused for a minute. I just realized we could take my YouTube video from this week, which was my energetic repatterning to recode your selling patterns and your selling coding so that you can receive more passive, effortless sales. So I just realized we could take that, we could actually turn that into a podcast episode as well because it's just audio. And it's like an energetic repatterning with tapping, and then I do a vocal reprogramming. We clear a lot of energy. We shift a lot of energy. Super cool. So then that actually equates out to, oh, look, 10 pieces of content. I'm just repurposing a couple into different places so that people can, connect with that content however feels aligned. So I realized I had my to-do list and then I only recorded 2 pieces of that content so far. And some of it is just I'm still going to record the content. It's not that. It's just, it didn't want to come through yet. And I had other content that did want to come through. And, I started tuning into new things. So by creating this list though, and then starting with that list and then letting the flow happen of what wanted to come through, I was able to see that actually, yes, I was completely correct with how much content I can expect myself to put out, except I had some slight alignment issues with, exactly how that was going to look. So now what I've done is I have created and I'm actually going to go and I'm going to tune this just a little bit more from this realization of, taking my energetic repatterning that I did and putting that here on the podcast and then taking the podcast and, those already are uploaded to YouTube and stuff. But, tuning into that because, I'm a manifester in human design. So I have limited energy. And then I need to rest. And so it's all, for me, being successful, and this is really, I think, very useful for many people in business, whether you have, whether you're a sacral being or not, is to find systems that work for you. And we can really only find those systems through tuning into how we naturally work and how we naturally create, but we need a starting point for that. So that was the rest of that story, by the way. I wanted you guys to know that because I wanted you to be able to take that concept and use it of create a list for yourself and be okay, so this is what I really rationally think, that get very grounded for a minute. and let yourself go, this is what I really feel capable of creating in a week. And then just see what happens and let yourself start with that, but don't make yourself finish that list. Let yourself, really tune into like, what are you actually creating? Because what you're wanting to do with this is you're just wanting to gather data about yourself so that you can know yourself, know what you're really wanting to create. So like I had my list on Monday that I was like, this is what I think I want to do. And then I started with that. And then today on Saturday, I sat down and I was like, things I did this week. And I made a whole list of, I recorded my energetic repatterning for YouTube. I recorded a podcast episode, recorded the identity initiation portal walkthrough for the main character code. I recorded the holographic healing chamber walkthrough for Coven of One. I recorded an Andromedan portal painting walkthrough for Coven of One. I painted a Syrian portal painting. I drew some grids. I recorded an Aldebaranian song transmission. I did 9 Instagram posts, lots of threads. Now I've recorded this podcast episode. So I was able to see like, oh, this is what I created for. This is what I intended to create for that I haven't gotten to yet. Like I wanted to record the first module for, or it's not the first module, but the next module for Monetize Your Magic. And it just hasn't come through yet. That's really it, is like, I just work here. So it's like I filed the request, but I had other stuff that wanted to come through first. So I had thought I was going to record, like I had put myself on a schedule and I was like, I'm going to record 2 modules of Monetize Your Magic a week. And Monetize Your Magic informed me this week, like, abso-fucking-lutely not. And I was like, okay, I got it. That's fine. So it was like, I will be coming through when I want to come through. And I was like, okay, well, you get down with your bad self. I love it. I'm here for it. I just work here. So anyways, I'm just like, and I feel like it's either, I don't know if I'm going to record it tomorrow, which is the Sunday, or Monday, or Tuesday. It's one of those 3 days, but I don't know when. And I feel like it's significant to the moon sign. Like it's like, not yet. It's like, I'll tell you when. And I'm like, okay. So it's like, I can either be resistant to the flow of creativity and I can be like, no, this is on my to-do list and I am programmed. So I'm going to beat myself up if I don't check everything off my to-do list because that's what they programmed me to do for like my entire existence, just to, blinders on and check the things off the to-do list. Or I can tune into like, hey, this to-do list is like guidelines. And so, this is all stuff that I know, everything on this list are things that I'm going to record. They just are. Like I'm not going to not do them. It's just a matter of when I'm doing them. Oh, and look at this. I'm checking something off this to-do list right now because I did drop the Arcturian Crystal Lake activation video for Coven of One, and that was on my to-do list. Woohoo! So that's cool. They're all things I'm going to do. They just haven't come through yet. Like I really didn't want to record business content this week. It just didn't. I'm also like hella in my luteal phase right now. Yeah, I don't want to record business content at the moment. Like I'm trying to vibe over here, like it'll come through when it's supposed to. And this is a very different method of creation for whatever you're wanting to create. But it's very relaxing once you can push through the initial discomfort of like, but I'm not just checking things off my to-do list. And I'm not, like that's just Earth programming. And, we want to release that when it comes up. We want to notice it. We want to observe it. We want to go, okay, maybe not. We want to just let that go. Because what we can then tune into is some really cool stuff, I gotta be honest, like, I'm like, well, this was a really good, like, master list of things that I want to create right now for my memberships, for the things, that I'm hosting, for the podcast, for YouTube, whatever. all of that stuff. But then also there were other things that wanted to come through. And if I had been too focused on completing that to-do list, I wouldn't have been available, for example, to paint the Syrian portal that I did last night, which provided me with an immense download and recoding situation that activated so many memories for me. It's like, it was boom. It was like, I just shifted timelines so hard just from being available for that painting to come through. But if I had been so focused on getting my to-do list done, like, I'm the fucking boss. I made the list. Like, why do I have to hold myself accountable to a fucking list that I made? I don't. I can just be available for my creativity to roll through as it so desires. And when you tune into that flow, you'll find that you're far more available for the creations that really want to come through you. And then the things that, it's like what I do is literally at the end of a week when I haven't, the things I haven't accomplished on my to-do list. This is one of the things I've done for the longest. I make these lists on a weekly, monthly, annual basis. And then I look at the things that I didn't do and I use it to tune in. Did I really want to do this? Did I actually want to do this? Is this something that I was doing because I felt called to do it? And because I want this deeply to be part of my brand and part of my legacy and part of my reality? Or did I feel from some programmed level that I should do this? So I had put it on my to-do list. And when you begin to see, it was like, especially back several years ago, maybe like 2020, 2021, I started seeing the same things pop up on my weekly list. I wouldn't have done them. And I started realizing that it was stuff I didn't want to do. It was things I did not want to actually be doing. And so that's why I wasn't doing it. That's why I was putting it off. That's why I was procrastinating with it, because it was shit that really didn't matter. It wasn't going to move the needle. It wasn't going to call in the clients that I wanted to work with. It wasn't going to build the brand and the legacy and the business and the reality and the world of magic that I wanted to build. It was something that one day back in the past, somebody had programmed into me that we had to fucking do. And I just carried that around forever. And one day I was like, that is lead and I'm going to transmute it into gold and I'm going to cross it off the list and it's going to stay off the list. And so that's like the vibe here. So utilizing, this like weekly concept. So, what I was able to do is when I looked at what I created, it was really cool. I took it to a little bit deeper of a place and I was like, okay, so next week it's going to be really easy for me if I tune into focusing on bringing through one piece of content for Coven of one piece of content for Main Character Code, one piece of content for Monetize Your Magic, one piece for YouTube, one podcast, and then I'm really wanting to tune into blogging again. So that was the next place that I had landed, right? It was like doing that. Because I thought, well, if I've tuned into this, and I can clearly create this level of content, then this should be no problem. And the bit that I was missing was that I was feeling a little bit just cranky because I'm really looking forward to creating the next parts of Monetize Your Magic. And I was looking forward to doing it this week. And then it didn't want to come play. And I got a little sad about it. But what I'm also realizing is that it's really, 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 really asking me to get very uncomfortable. And instead of, having this I must create one piece of content for Coven of One, and I must create one piece of content for this, and I must create one piece of content for this, and I must do this, and blah, 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 right? Really opening up into having, these lists. I love lists so much. Having these lists of things that I want to create and then being available for what wants to come through, when it wants to come through. And if those are things that I anticipated, they're things that I anticipated. And if not, then they're extra special guests and I should treat them as such rather than just having to fire away at my to-do list. I mean, I'm not... No. Oh my God. Well, we're not going to do that anymore. So anyways, that was the rest of my story about that. Little PS episode for you guys. But anyway, so basically I am going to now go tune into relaxing my content creation schedule and instead tuning into like having, this is the stuff that I'm really wanting to create and bring into the world. And then what I'm going to do is really focus this next coming week on allowing just what wants to come through, and then just observing that and seeing then, do we have any patterns from week to week? And then, I feel like probably if I do this for, 2 or 3 months, I'm going to get a lot of data about myself and how I work. And I feel like you could also do the same thing, and get data about yourself and how you work. And that would probably help you out a lot. So anyways, I just wanted to share that with you. I'm going to be testing that out for the next little bit as I just kind of do this tuning process. So much of energy work is really not solidified until we do something about it in the physical realm. So this is where, you tune into something like, I think I want to do this. Well, then you need to start doing it, right? Doing some of that in the physical realm. Like, what is it really like to create, that was the thing, was I was like, well, I really need to tune into, what is it like for me to, create content for this and create content for this and create content for this and, record this and record this and record this, and how am I feeling? And am I tired? And what is, how much can I actually expect myself to create on an average kind of low energy week? And then set my expectations of myself accordingly, right? So anyways, there you go. It's funny. I think the PS is, well, no, it's not quite as long as the episode itself, but I thought that was funny. I was like, the PS is almost as long as the episode. But anyways, I hope you guys try this out, and if it works for you, I'm so happy. I feel like I'm going to be talking about this more in Witchery Use. So anyways, feel free to come hang out with us. Let's try this out together. Let's see how this tuning process works for us all. And yeah, that's all I have.